Good day, or whatever time of day or time zone you are listening to both our new and returning listeners to the next episode of the Gushbog podcast series from Wyden, the digital asset trading lifecycle infrastructure provider for regulated digital institutions. My name is Stuart Peterson, and I am, as always, your host on the Gushbog. During our podcast series over the last year or so, we've returned to a recurring theme of why and practically how an institution would go about launching digital asset services. I've spoken with Lunzener Kantonalbank and Finova here in Switzerland. So for this episode, let's focus on a rapidly growing digital asset economy who is leading the way both in terms of adoption and also regulation. Turkey has become a powerhouse in digital asset adoption over the recent years, and for several reasons. One is regulation, as the government has now rolled out 2 tranches of the new legislation over the past year, including licensing and supervision requirements for CASPs. This is paving the way for new regulated cryptocurrency and digital asset offerings that cater for the growing appetite of Turkish retail and institutional investors. Important fact, Turkey has over 1/2 of the population now has invested in crypto. And the Turkish lira is the 4th most used fiat currency in the digital asset and crypto markets. It's an environment that has created a plenty of opportunities for CASPs, particularly those agile enough to move quickly in this rapidly developing market. Garanti BBVA, Turkey's 5th largest bank, has been one of those early movers, first launching crypto services under its dedicated brand, Garanti BBVA Kripto, back in 2023. This year, Garanti BBVA Kripto has announced a raft of partnerships to facilitate that offering in the market, including institutions such as Bitstamp, Bit2Me, and us here at Wyden. Today's guest is going to talk with us about the bank's journey and highly successful launch into digital assets. Onur Güven is the CEO of Garanti BBVA Kripto and has been at the forefront over the past few years of the growing Turkish crypto economy. Welcome to the podcast, Onur. I would like to kick off by asking you, for our listeners around the globe, to give an introduction both to yourself and some of the insights what the awesome team at Garanti BBVA Kripto does.
Thank you very much, Stuart. Great summary of Turkey. I couldn't do a better job. Thank you very much. As you mentioned, it's a very active crypto ecosystem in Turkey. Some say 15 million, some say 20 million active crypto users here. But of course, a traditional finance partner like ourselves will change the game, so it will bring it to the mainstream. So I myself is a fintech guy, out of 15 years of my 25-year professional career, so I was in the fintech, payments, mobile payments, and for the last 6 years in around crypto. So myself and the team in Garanti BBVA Kripto are the true believers in the crypto technology, crypto adoption, but also true believers in the evolution of the traditional finance, which the crypto and the blockchain technologies bring new values into. So therefore, we have a very dedicated and enthusiastic team in order to write some of the success stories in the world, which brings crypto into the traditional finance world.
That's perfect. And thank you very much for the introduction to yourself, the team, and also Garanti BBVA Kripto in general. So maybe let's kick off by, let's start off at the beginning. Could you maybe share some rationale and insights behind actually the bank itself, Garanti BBVA, and their decision to actually enter into the cryptocurrency space in Turkey as pretty much one of the first traditional banks to start to offer services in this space?
Yeah, sure. Great question. So there's actually an easy answer to that question, which kind of beats them all, which is the customer demand. So Garanti BBVA is the second largest private bank in Turkey, fifth including public banks. So Garanti BBVA has 27 million customers, and Garanti BBVA also is one of the, if not the most, one of the most digital banks in Turkey, and also the customers are the most, or one of the most digital savvy customers. Therefore, regarding the crypto industry, crypto ecosystem in Turkey, so like most of them are Garanti BBVA customers. So like at least half of the crypto customers is a Garanti BBVA customer already. So they were demanding crypto services regarding custody. So like there are lots of course, external platforms, non-Turkish platforms, etc. However, some of the users, which are considerably relatively higher valued customers, I would say, demand custody services or secure transaction 724 customer service, because like they are very used to that personal touch, right, in terms of banking. So they want to know someone is there when they need, etc. So Garanti BBVA brand also is very proud to provide those services to their banking customers. So they also decided, in order to provide services to that customer demand. So starting from custody and easy user experience, 724 customer service, and now we are bringing new features as well. So Turkey has a very young population. 40% of the population is below the age of 25 and very digital savvy. Also, there's like a appetite for alternative investment instruments. And also there is also a barrier to entry to financial and new wealth instruments as well. So crypto brings value to those demographic. And additionally, we see that new users who were crypto curious before, but was hesitant because of they don't know the industry, they don't know the technology, they don't know the platforms that are providing that. So when a bank's brand comes into play, they are willing to diversify their portfolios, or they are willing to invest much more rather than other platforms. So like we are seeing that answering that customer demand paid off very rapidly. So we see that like we are doing the right thing. We are providing the right services. That also encourages us to do more.
That's great. And I think as a sort of secondary point on this, there's the amazing insights. But I'd like to sort of delve and find out a little bit more about what was that sort of that rationale or go-no-go decision that the bank had to enter into digital assets or crypto. What was that sort of catalyst? By way of give you an example, the banks in the European Union over the last few years, the catalyst for them was they were tracking the amount of outflows from current savings accounts via IBAN numbers to the cryptocurrency exchanges like Coinbase, Binance, etc., and the money wasn't flowing back. And obviously, a core anchor point of a bank is to have enough, money on deposit so that it can loan for its lending business as well. So for some of the banks in the European Union and other jurisdictions, that was really a driver to actually enter into the space. And then obviously a secondary driver would be around responding to customer needs in terms of what does a customer want? How do we provide that one-stop shop service? And would a customer who would not necessarily trade on Coinbase and move their assets, would they be more accepting if they went to do it with their bank that they've banked with for 25, 30 years, for example?
Yeah, of course, that too. So like we know that there's the Turkish crypto industry is huge, right? We see the numbers, we see the customers, adoption, the volume. So since we also as the bank, so like since we have the almost half of the retail customers in Turkey, so it's really easy to assume that like half of the crypto market is already the bank's customers, right? So since it's kind of the assets are there, the fiat currency is also there, right? So therefore, it will be a very beneficial offer for the customer and also for the banks as well. So it wasn't like I believe there wasn't the need to do very thorough analysis in order to point that. So I'm sure every bank in Turkey is very aware that the what regarding their market share in the banking industry, the same share is in the crypto industry as well. So therefore, other banks also moving into that direction. So it wasn't I believe it wasn't a matter of the question why. It was a kind of a question around when. Since, just like you mentioned, since there was the new law, the crypto law in Turkey, released last year and going into play early this year, and also started collecting the applications for that license, which we expect the first crypto licenses to be issued early next year. So I think that answered the when question. In order to, the bank said, okay, now this is the rules of the game are settled, so we can invest in that area, knowing that we can match the customer demand, but also we can count on the regulator that there is a new customer protection in the country regarding crypto services that are and other banks brands will come into play. So we would be the banks would be eager to invest and in order to put their brand in the crypto industry, knowing that there won't be foul play. So that's, I think, was also one of the main reasons.
Now, that I think that's a recurring theme that we've definitely heard across different jurisdictions and markets, and probably some of those areas are more specific around Turkey because of its economy and macroeconomics as well, which I'm sure we'll touch on a little bit later. But maybe sort of looking sort of forward a little bit in terms of those strategic goals. I mean, what were the key strategic goals that Garanti BBVA actually had for Garanti BBVA Kripto in terms of its sort of packaging and offerings, and where does it see itself sort of growing into?
So, we are true believers of the evolution of finance via blockchain technologies. So it brings lots of new features that the old system cannot provide. Therefore, we are actually looking at this as several phases. Of course, currently, since we made our launch several months ago, we are all trying to provide the services on the hygienic features, right? Custody, buy, sell features for the standard user and also advanced user, etc. So we are working on that, we started our marketing campaign 4 months ago. However, we've seen huge growth. So we reached 200,000 customers already, and $1 billion US of annual volume. and also $150 million of asset under custody. So it's like it's a very high growth, which we weren't expecting as much, even though with a short-term period, right? So like we are working on perfecting our current features as well. However, we started with the retail and also only custody and buys and also trading features, right? However, the future will hopefully bring a lot more. So we are seeing also, due to the regulations as well, we are seeing also parallel to the rest of the world, US and Europe. So we are seeing institutional users, corporate customers, right? So like since it's being legalized, it started to become mainstream, and the 99% retail crypto market in Turkey we are seeing it will a little bit change. It will differentiate with new personas and new segments, right? So that's why we are also want to be in the intersection of the traditional finance and also in the crypto. So we started with the hygienic features that the customers demand in order to use us rather than another current player. However, we see that this evolution will take at least 10 years. So with the tokenization, with the payments that we can deep dive in the ongoing discussion within this session. However, we know that there will be lots will happen. Some we imagine and we get ready for it, technology-wise and resources-wise. But also, I'm sure that like there will be new needs, while the technology and the evolution and the regulation and the customer adoption of different segments come into play. So it will be, I think, really important to be in that intersection. So the game changers, some of the game changers, with the right partnerships, of course, because it's not like it's not a solo act for sure. With the right partnerships, I think that there will be great opportunities in the market. So that what was our thought process as well. So there's this like clear agenda for us, a clear position for us. So we know that we are at the right place, delivering the right product, and the future products that we are also working on. When the Turkish regulations also enable tokenization payments, so it's not a if, it's a when, then we will be able to provide that services to the crypto ecosystem. So that's, I think, the strategic positioning that we have.
I think that's very much in line with a lot of the other sort of major institutions. So, you being the second largest private bank in Turkey, and obviously, and being part of the BBVA group, which is, I think, we're in the top 50 banks globally as well, and has many, many different entities, particularly in Europe and Latin America. One of the things that binds all of this together is regulation, right? So, yes, we're seeing the starts in retail, but now there's a quick pivot towards providing institutional services, whether that's institutional buy, sell, hold, whether that's a white label pass-through, whether that's prime brokerage, whether that's payments, treasury, liquidity, corporate management. Everything is kind of predicated around regulation. So as you're one of those first banks sort of to go to market, and with the brand name of Garanti BBVA, how did you navigate those initial rules? The first rules came out last year. Then we had the secondary regulation, I believe, on the 13th of March this year. How did the bank start to navigate that in order to get to market and be one of the first out of the gates?
Yeah, great question. So like as much as we welcome regulation in the market in order to clarify the rules, put customer protection in play. Due to the agile nature of crypto, of course, like it's kind of raises some eyebrows, right? So like to protect the customer, however, not to obstruct the innovation, right? So also we are seeing on the regulator side as well. So like they are releasing new regulations and they are fine tuning their rule book, right? Just like you mentioned. So like after that, there was like also some AML rules come into play, etc. So like I think it's a living environment. So it will also, I believe, will be beneficial for the Turkish crypto market. However, it's a journey for the regulator as well. So we are, while we welcome the regulation, make it in order to make it more mainstream, make it to more comprehensive and more accessible. However, of course, we are talking and giving feedback to them in order to find the sweet spot of innovation and the restriction, right? So, like, since we are in the intersection of the traditional finance and crypto, we see lots of opportunities, not only for the banks, but also in the Turkish ecosystem as well. So Turkish ecosystem is, as I said, a very young population, but also like the Turkish tech community, there is like a high entrepreneurship, and there are like lots of startups in this area in order to provide local or global services, right? So it will be hopefully an crypto ecosystem, very powerful, innovative crypto ecosystem that we are also trying to fill that gap as a banking partner or as a traditional finance slash crypto partner. So I think that's one of our missions and one of the parties that can do that. In order to do that, we are also like in talks with regulators in order to enable some areas that might be restricted at the moment, such as tokenization, payments. However, we see like a huge benefit for the Turkish economy, Turkish crypto ecosystem. Therefore, we don't see it as like a black and gray regulation. So it's also an ongoing process that we need to actively participate in, which we do.
Absolutely. And I think that the device that you've been one of the major banks and the first out of the gate to to the market and actually seeing real world what are some of the positives and negatives and providing that feedback to the regulators is clearly very important. I mean, today the main asset class is spot, right? So retail, buy, sell, hold. We're moving into the institutional. But also, there's a big growing demand around derivatives as well, and that's I think that a lot of the Turkish crypto economy is also looking at how can they get the regulators to enable the use of derivatives as well. We're seeing some of the institutions actually looking outside of Turkey and setting up in the UAE under VAR regulations until such time that the CMB actually starts to allow regulation of derivatives as well. So I'm sure some of the input and feedback that you have as Garanti BBVA Kripto will be very important in terms of that strategic growth of the regulatory environment that allows a growing economy, but also managing the risk of that as well.
Exactly. Very, very good point, actually. So like the regulation itself was aiming to of course regulate, but also flourish the crypto ecosystem. However, some restrictions kind of discouraged current players, and some of them had to move out of Turkey, which I think is was a waste for sure. So like the crypto ecosystem should be here and provide services to the Turkish economy, Turkish customers, etc. So I think there might be there is some area to again to improve in the current structure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, every rules and set of regulations, if you look at, for example, VARA, if you look at MiCA, they're going to go through different iterations as well. But if I just turn back to your point, and my next question is around the actual domestic market, where do you see the sort of 2 or 3 main areas of evolution of maybe cryptocurrency, maybe digital assets? Where is that sort of evolution going to happen in the next 1 to 3 or 3 to 5 years?
We reached a customer base of 200,000, right? So like a quarter of them are have never made a crypto transaction in their lives. So since we are a bank, so that brings that trust and easiness to use, etc., in order to bring them. So like I think the main thing is for us is to bring the crypto services to the mainstream. So that can be either like investment, that can be either payments, etc., but also in the corporate side as well as in terms of treasury, in terms of cross-border payments, etc. So that will, I think, bring the most value. The first, the adoption, the mainstream, the trust, and after that we will see that increase in the use cases. So I think we are in the first phase now. So like as I said, like the corporate segment in crypto industry is almost non-existing. So like it's a huge market. So like it's not about volume or the differentiation of the use cases actually. So like we need one use case in order to provide to that segment, I believe. Therefore, we are seeing that we are bringing value in order to enlarge the pie itself. So we are bringing new customers to the market, and we are trying to educate them as well. So like it's a new technology, it's more volatile, related to some assets, etc. So I think we also have a kind of a mission as well. But once that mainstream or the trust issue kind of dissolves, saying that like if when the customer, retail or corporate, says that like, okay, I will buy this or I will do this, I don't care if it's a blockchain technology or not, right? So like when they got there, then I think we will be providing the winner use cases, the killer use cases to the customers, such as the tokenization of the securities or money market funds, right? So like 24/7 transaction advantage. So then that will mean a lot. But at that point, I think we will be seeing a little bit of a merge in the industry. So I don't think the customer will have to know if it's a token or if it's a security itself. So like it will be some products in the maybe a kind of a holistic platform providing investment instruments. As I said, some works 24/7 and is low cost. Some doesn't work 24/7. That's a high cost. So like the customer can decide, right, on that. The same is on the cross-border payments, right? So like the treasury of a corporation would say, okay, I can send this on Monday with X amount of cost, or I can send it right now with like a cost of 2 USDTs, right? So like then I think kind of the second phase, which will bring the high adoption and in terms of usage and also in terms of volume next. But I think first we need to bring this to the mainstream and educate the finance sector, but also the customers, retail or corporate.
Absolutely. And I think that sort of brings me nicely on to another question as a bit of a segue, because today we talk about crypto, but it's digital assets, and digital assets and crypto effectively run on blockchain technology, and the rewiring of the financial services system shouldn't really mean anything to the end customer other the fact that there's new products, new opportunities. You can do it better, faster, cheaper, and more securely. So, I think Turkey is definitely at the forefront of pushing those kind of boundaries, and I'm sure that the blockchain technology in general will power the Turkish economy going forward.
I really believe so, and I think it's an important opportunity for Turkey as well. So, in terms of banking industry, Turkey is really advanced. I don't know, most of the listeners probably don't know Turkey and Turkish banking industry. However, early 2000s, there was a banking crisis, and there were high regulation. However, that regulation brought several innovations. So I think the banking industry used that regulations in their advantage, and in order to perfect their services, and also a crazy digital savvy population here always was since the early 2000s. Therefore, the banking industry has one of the best in the world as far as I've seen. So therefore, crypto adoption is not a surprise for us. However, it's a new opportunity that digital infrastructure, digital savvy population, and the need for new investment tools in Turkey. So that is really an opportunity, just like you said. So I'm hoping that as a country, as a regulator, the big players, the small players, the consumer, the corporates, institutes, all together, I hope we can use that opportunity right now, because it's a fast-paced environment as well. So also we are willing to participate and enable what we can do to the ecosystem as a bank subsidiary. So that's also what we are believe in, and hopefully it will happen as a country. I mean, in general.
So yeah, that brings me on to my last question. I think based upon everything that we said, there is a huge number of important factors for the success of and growth of digital assets, crypto, blockchain technology, both for retail and institutional users in Turkey. You have been at the forefront of this, not just at Garanti BBVA Kripto, but also previously, you've been heavily involved in the crypto and digital asset space. Maybe what advice could you give to other financial institutions who are actually now looking to kick off and enter into this space, given that Garanti BBVA Kripto has really, already been in this space and learned the hard way, I suppose, from being one of the first providers?
Great question. So I'm a true believer in the future of the industry. So we have to look at as a 10, 15 years forward, right? So we are going to transform the financial industry. Some we will change, some might not. Some of them maybe we won't, but we will definitely change this huge industry, right? So in order to do that, we should be playing an ecosystem play. So I think the if you focus on competition, I think it will be a waste. It will be a very short-term goal. So we have to focus on the long term, and we need to find the right partners in order to bring some value to the world, to the finance ecosystem. So it will be a long road. It will be lots of regulations. We will have to work with startups, conglomerates, regulators, or maybe non-financial partners as well. So I think the main the key takeaway that I've seen in the industry, we are all in this together, and we are still very, very, very early. So like the regulatory environment is just clarified recently, right? Like not only in Turkey, in Europe, in United States as well. Like 1 year ago, we were having doubt, but now it's like very much more clearer, right? And it will get clearer. In order to provide value and benefit from being here early, we need to find the right partners that can be like customer acquisition, that can be technology partnerships, that can be tokenization of some traditional assets, etc. So there's a lot to do here, and what I benefited and will support in the future is that like the to play this ecosystem game and bring the forces together in order to expand this market, bring it into the mainstream. Then maybe we can compete, but not in the couple of 2-3 years. So like we are, I think, playing the same game. We are all on the same side. So therefore, the partnerships, the long-term vision, and also transforming the current infrastructure or current services, I think will be the top of mind.
I think there's some great conclusions and takeaways there, and I think that's been an amazing set of sort of feedbacks and insights and commentary. And I'd like to thank you very much for taking this time today. I'm sure that our listeners have got a huge amount of inspiration from this podcast episode. Now, there's a lot the market outside of Turkey, i.e. globally, can learn from Turkish institutions, as we've learned today, and such as what you've been doing at Garanti BBVA Kripto in terms of successfully launching a bank-grade retail crypto service, ensuring a great customer experience, but also at the same time, managing the cost basis to provide that service excellence, especially given some of the specifics and macroeconomics around the actual Turkish market in general. Now, thank you for that. Those insights were great. But it's not just our guests and our podcast series that makes everything successful. It's also that our guests and our listeners that also can make that happen as well. So if you like the content from our podcast, it would also be awesome if you can continue to spread the word so that even more listeners in our ecosystem can get the benefits of everybody's experiences like Onur here today. We continue to have a great roster of guests lined up over the next few months. So please be on the lookout for that notification when that next podcast drops. And on that note, Onur, once again, thank you so much for your time and the insights and I'm sure that the Turkish market is very appreciative that, this can be spoken about on a global basis, exactly the impact that Turkey is actually giving to the global digital asset economy. And on that note, I'd like to thank everybody for listening in today and look forward to having everybody back soon. Thank you.